Hey everybody. It's your weekly garden tour here in Zone 9B. And this is not my garden, of course, but this is the backyard. And you can see my backyard is very small and it's very shaded. And that's why I didn't do my garden in the back and I did it on the side of my house. But I wanted to show you a few things. Like this was all empty at the beginning of last week. And what I did was I brought everything that was in my garage that was garden related. I put it back here because I needed it to be in one spot. Because what I found is I was doing too much work going back and forth, back and forth. So I found a few ways to alleviate that. Now I have like some hay under these tarps, and I'm going to get some more tarps as well. It actually rained last night. And over here, this table just has everything that I need to grow. Those buckets are going to be filled pretty soon, and I have some totes underneath. And what I did was, as you can see, it's like a little milk bottle up under there. It's filled with water, and I just put those on top of the containers because some of those lids don't match. And that's going to keep the rain out, hopefully, and any critters. But there's nothing in there a critter will want. And then these buckets are going to be planted out as well and into the garden. And also what I did to keep from running back and forth, y'all, I got this gorilla cart. Yay! And I've been using it like crazy just to bring things from the garage and also to pick up leaves, and it can mix dirt up in, and it dumps as well. So if y'all want to hear more about the cart, then just let me know. I got that in lieu of a wheelbarrow, and I think I'm gonna like this much better. But again, if you want to hear more about that, then let me know in the comments. Now, one more thing I want to show you in the backyard before I do the tour is this. And this was a trash can that I had just sitting on my back porch, and I used to put like firewood in it for my fireplace. But I haven't been using it, and it's just been sitting there for years, and I decided to make a compost bin out of it. So what I did was I just put like a million holes in it with my drill, and I'm going to put something heavy on top as well to keep critters out. And you can see there I already started. So if you want to hear more about that, then you can let me know as well. Alright, so let's move out to the garden. So we're going to go outside of the fence. I have my dirt and stuff is up under this big piece of plywood because I got this plywood off the side of the road, and I haven't decided what I wanted to do with it, but it's like very good plywood. And so here is kind of the back of the garden. So I'm going to go to the front so that you can see, or the front side of this garden. Okay, so this is what the garden is looking like now, and you can see both of the arches here. They are quite lovely, and I really haven't made too many changes since the last video. I actually did some work on Sunday, so there's some things that you didn't see in the last tour. So let's go up and let's just start right here. And I just kind of move some things around as well. So these are actually cow peas, and I planted those last Sunday. You can see, look how much they have grown. Look at that, y'all. And cow peas are actually black-eyed peas. So y'all never fails. My nose starts going crazy as soon as I start talking. And then here I did some more plantings as well. So I had some pepper transplants, which are right here, and they're doing nicely, and I'm going to top those off. And I'm going to really try to do things right this time around, but my pepper plant is doing good, and you'll see. And then this here is a zucchini plant. These are some more cucumbers. I want to do 2 more cucumbers. Here is a yellow squash plant, and next to it is sugar baby melons, and they're all coming up, yay. And then right here is okra. So we have 2 okra plants, and this one's coming up. Now all of these I planted on Sunday, and they're already popping up. And I just need to replant the spinach and the cilantro. And then you can see the lettuces are still alive. They're just barely hanging in there. And I've been eating some of the lettuce. Back here in the back, we have a tomato transplant. And it actually has some flowers on it, and I pinched them off. And it has a basil plant in there as well, because my experience, the basil and the tomato plants are a good companion plant. So from now on, whenever I plant a tomato, I'll probably plant a basil with it. And then here is carrots, and I was kind of worried about the carrots because I kept reading that carrots don't like hot weather. You know, we're in Florida. But, however, I planted these last Sunday, and I don't know if you can see, but there's some babies. We got some baby carrots coming up in here. I also changed the shade cloth on here, and I got this shade cloth from Lowe's, and it was super inexpensive. You can get 6 feet of it for $1.98, and if you have been in the military, you can get a military discount of 10%. So I only spent like about around $1.70 for 6 yards, and I bought like 3 of those. So I spent like $7 on shade cloth, and so I still have to replace the one back here. And I went to the dollar store, and let's just turn that around. I went to the dollar store and got some foo-foo stuff, and I love butterflies, so I got some foo-foo butterflies. They did have some that has the wind chimes, but since this is on the side of the house, because you can see that's how much space I have from my neighbor's house to my house, and they did say I could use their space too, but I'm going to use it as overflow whenever I get done with my side. I wanted it to look pretty, so you can see that's the side of this part, and I call this the dream trellis. So I kind of section the yard off, and I know which sections are what. So this is a dream, and I also got this little welcome sign from the dollar store too. Kind of cute, huh? They don't have a lot of stuff left from the dollar store, but I will say as well, at the dollar store, if you can find any seeds, they're like 20 cents a pack now. Now, on to the sunflower patch here. And this is my Bobby sunflower patch. And again, I got this little doohickey, which is turned around sunshine here. I got that at the dollar store as well. And I thinned these plants out probably like about a week ago, but I didn't want to like just throw the plants away. So I put them in water, and I'm supposed to be replanting those, but they're still in water, and one of them actually got a bloom on it. I couldn't believe it. So these are all getting ready to bloom out, and I have one bloom right here. Isn't that pretty? And then up under my umbrella here that I got on the side of the road as well, somebody was throwing it in the trash and I kept it. I put it up here to protect my poor little bean plant, especially from the sun, because I have researched and found that the blossoms fall off because of the heat. So I decided to give them some heat. Now this plant looks a lot different from last week. It's still thriving, surprisingly, and making beans, but yesterday I almost deadheaded this plant. It was just full of leaf miner damage, and there's still leaf miners still trying to inhabit, so I'll show you what it looks like. So that's it right there. See that little line right there? That's leaf miners. So I had a lot of damage on this plant, so I just went ahead and took a chance and took the leaves off, and I just thought maybe nature will take care of it. I did spray the plants with some BT, and hopefully that will keep them off. I used some fresh BT because I was using some BT that wasn't fresh, but that's a whole nother story. If you want to hear about that, let me know. And then we have the carrots and beets. These were put in March 12th, so they've been in for a while, but they're still not ready to harvest just yet. And it's gonna be exciting to see what comes out, because I didn't thin things out like I was supposed to. I'm just saying, y'all, new gardener, but they look quite lovely. So, you know, I understand you get what you get when you don't do things right. And then over here is another bean plant that I did in April, and it didn't have it may have had 2 leaves that had some leaf miner damage on it, so I took those off as well. I have not harvested any beans off of this, but you can see, y'all, look at these blooms. They are so beautiful. So this one is getting ready to get some beans on it. Yay for that. Oh, and look, let's go back over here. You can see there's a bean right there. Okay. I also had to tie down my umbrella because it was blowing over and I didn't want it to damage any plants. So I'm going to try to tie it down even better. And I'm also going to try to stake my trellises down better as well. So in this container was my radishes, and I harvested those already. And so I took those out. So I just want to amend that soil, and then I'll figure out what I want to put in there. I think I'm going to move that whole drawer someplace else, which is the nice thing about having a container garden. You can really move a lot of things around. And then over here is my beautiful cucumber plant. So there's 2 cucumber plants in here and a marigold. And the marigold is getting quite big. So you can see the marigold right here. And I was so happy when my cucumber plants started to trellis. So I started, and I was trying to train them a little bit too. They still need some training. They're out of control. And then my vertical garden, the only thing I have in here is some chamomile here, and I think I put some parsley in here. Oh, peppermint. So those have not germinated yet, and those went in last Sunday as well. So let's go over here, and look, y'all, that's my cucumber plant. So I'm gonna have to take this off of here. It's going up the sunflower, because it just went wherever it could grab, which is fine, but I wanted to go up the trellis, so I'll fix that a little bit. I just saw that. And I had to ask my cousin about these sunflowers, because what I noticed was they bloomed for a little while, and then now they're like, I thought, oh no, they're dying off. But y'all, look at this. I want y'all to take a look at this plant. It's hard for me to see, but if you look in like the armpits here, there's new flowers growing in. I didn't know sunflowers did that. And so every armpit has a flower, and this one is doing the same thing. This one actually, the head actually just died off today, and it's got some heads going on the back of there. Yay! So the sunflowers are weird but doing well. They didn't get as tall as I thought they were going to get, but I think they may need some fertilizer. Today was a fertilizing day, but I'm kind of tired, so I probably will fertilize tomorrow. And then here we have a marigold, and this was a banana pepper, and it looks like it's still alive. And I was actually going to take this up, but I see some new leaves coming up here. So you can see it's like really just what the, but it's still alive. So I'm just going to leave it and see what happens. I was going to pull it out, but I'm glad I didn't. And then look at this tomato plant back here. Look at all that goodness, and we have a few tomatoes that can probably come off because they'll probably still ripen after I take them off. And then we have another tomato plant back here as well, and these also have leaf miner damage on them, but I would have had to just pull all the leaves off. So I kind of left some leaves on, and every day I pull a few leaves off. And I did spray the plant with VT as well. Now look at those wonderful, lovely flowers on those. So this one is getting ready to go crazy. It's going to go bananas, I hope. And over here is my pepper plant, and even though I have this shaded, you can tell this pepper plant knows where the sun is coming from. The leaves on this side, they're all on this side of the plant, and that's the south facing way for the sun to come in. So even though it's shaded, it's doing well. And I kept this under the shade because I also researched, and it said that the blossoms fall off when it's hot outside. So I wanted to make sure that the blossoms did not fall off, and that's why I have it shaded. And there is just, I don't know if you all can see this, but it is a ton of peppers back here. Let me see if I go on this side, if you can see the peppers. There's a really big one, and I'm just waiting for it to turn colors because this is a red bell pepper plant. And then I have another bucket that has beets and carrots in it, and it's looking quite lovely. Y'all, look at these carrots. Wonderful. I think only 2 of the beets survived the planting, but because I direct sowed them, but the carrots are quite lovely. And then here I started another drawer of radishes, and this time I made sure I spread them out and only put like 1 seed in each hole, so these don't need to be thinned. I did notice, I think some of the these shifted because I planted it and then I moved it by mistake, and things shifted around, and I think I might have lost maybe one that didn't come up, but that's fine because I don't plan on eating a whole bunch of these. But next week I'm going to plant some more on the other side. So the other side is currently empty, and then we can get to it. And then we have another cucumber plant, and you can see it starting to trellis. So my goal is for this trellis to just be full of leafy, vining type of plants. So I'm going to put another cucumber on this side as well. So yeah, I already got things planned out. But isn't that lovely? So there's one more area that I would like to show you. Okay, here in the front, I dedicated these boxes to kale and chard. So this is the Swiss chard here. And you can see they're all coming up. And I'm going to have to thin these out. You can see it. So my camera cut off before the end, so I didn't get a chance to show you the chard. But however, I love, love, love doing these weekly updates, if nothing else, just for myself, because when I look at the videos from the weeks before, I can really see how much growth the garden has had. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but I did harvest some radishes this week. I also harvested some of the contender beans, which I have already cooked, and I've harvested some of the cherry tomatoes as well, which were very good and tasty. So I am now reaping the rewards of my garden, although they're very small tidbits, but pretty soon I'll be getting some good harvest off of the actual garden. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I would love to hear your comments below, and please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. I am really enjoying sharing my garden with you, and if you saw something that you would like for me to explain in more detail, please let me know as well. But for now, we're just going to do the weekly garden tours, and I hope you all are enjoying, because I am enjoying, and I am just having a ton of fun in the garden. So I'm just going to give an honorable mention to my cousin Bobby, who really inspired me to get going with this lovely garden, and I am completely and utterly ecstatically happy right now.